You can't beat the classics.
Oh yeah, here we are, episode 14. You Can't Beat the Classics podcast. 14 episodes down. Still so many movies to cover. But we're gonna bring you this one today. George and Mike are back with me as usual. What's up, guys?
How's it going?
What's going on?
Yeah, not a whole lot going on.
It's been a little bit.
A little bit, not too long. Not 50 Shades of Grey hiatus long. but a little bit. Yeah, so episode 14, we're going to be getting into interesting, oh my gosh, where would you put it? Post-apocalyptic action,
romance,
a little bit of romance in there.
Definitely sci-fi.
There's some science fiction in here. A lot going on with this one. But we're going to be talking about 1995's Waterworld, directed by Kevin Reynolds.
Wet Yellowstone.
All right, so before we getting into it here, all right, so I always ask this at the beginning. Do you guys remember the first time you saw Waterworld?
Yeah.
Like a good recollection of when?
My freshman year.
I saw it when it came out on on DVD.
Yeah. Okay, so a while ago. But one thing that you guys have been telling me on this one is like you've rewatched it a bunch of times.
Yeah, I watch it probably once every couple months when it's on TV.
Wow, so this is one I haven't watched many times. So when I watched it, it feels like weeks ago now. I think it probably was, but it's not a bad movie, but I mean, just not a lot there for me. I think we said it just before we started recording, but like. I think one issue I had with this movie was the runtime. This is a long movie.
I'll counter that. I've seen your ratings of films, and I've seen how many 4-star films, like The Avengers, Avatar, The Batman, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. 2.5 hour runtime is not something you're not used to, my friend. So do not blame your cynicism on this movie on the runtime.
So I won't. All right. So I'll put a little more substance in that then.
Yay.
So yeah. So those movies, the ones you just named, I felt like I was invested in something. So like with Waterworld, I didn't feel that way.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of build on that because the movie is definitely a slow roller, right? Like it starts a little slow. Yeah. And then, like, once you understand all the characters and you get the complexities, like, it picks up a little bit and then it kind of feels like it's over. But, like, there are, I'm going to say, 4 different character groups that all come in together. And you kind of have to know why each one's important to be able to distinguish their, like, what they're doing in this world at this point. So I can understand that, but like it can't just be like, okay, for instance, it can't be like The Gray, where they give you like 34 seconds on each character and then they expect you to care about them.
Yeah.
Next.
So like it has to be like, all right, so like you get the smokers and you have to understand what the smokers are and like what their stake in the world is, and then you get like Enola and her mom, and you have to understand like that character, and then you get Costner's character, and you have to understand like where he fits in, and like it's not like, hey, look at this person, and now you're going on a trip with them across this vast ocean that the world is only ocean. Now, like, you have to understand who he is before the movie can happen. You know what I mean?
So before we dive into specific plot details on this, I'll get some good. I'll throw some good in here about what I liked about it. The production on this and like these set pieces, amazing.
Yeah, like all the boats and everything.
Yeah.
Were like really they looked hobbled together, but they were still super functional. It was pretty neat.
It looked so good, but like as I'm watching it, I'm like, this must have been a pain in the ass to film.
Yeah, trying to get ocean scenes without anything in the background.
Yeah, I mean, remember the horror stories from Jaws?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such an unpredictable environment, so I can't imagine it going smoothly the entire time it was in production.
Yeah, and I will say I have like really good memories of the first time I watched this movie, and then I also had really good memories of seeing the live show at Universal.
I've done that.
Yeah, the live show at Universal for this is phenomenal because it pays like it's literally the movie in like 20 minutes. It's pretty great.
Yeah, I did that when I was like, I must have been like 14 years old when I did that, but that was actually neat.
That was really cool.
That was cool.
They still run that show too. Still have.
Yeah, they do. And now, all right, we're gonna keep tradition here, so I'm gonna pull up the trailer for Waterworld, and we're gonna watch that real quick. You guys here?
Yep.
Okay.
The future. The polar ice caps have melted, and the Earth lies beneath a watery grave. Those who survived have adapted to a new world.
What did you see out there in the 15 lunars?
Such as?
An end? An end to all this water?
You're asking the wrong person.
Pure dirt.
So what's the worth? We trading or not?
And the human dream is the search for a mystical place called dry land.
It doesn't exist!
How can you be sure?
Because I sailed farther than most have dreamed. I've never seen it.
This place, this whole way of living, it's ending.
Straight line leading directly to dry land.
Dry land is not just our destination, but it is our destiny!
Universal Pictures presents a world unlike any you have ever seen. Kevin Costner, Dennis Hopper, Gene Triplehorn. Waterworld.
Waterworld.
Dude, I don't know how that trailer does not get you freaking jacked up. Let's watch it.
No, that's a good trailer.
So
that's a good trailer.
Before we dive in too much, the trailer I think is great. Like normally we criticize the trailers, right? Because they either are misleading because we picked some sore movies in the past, or they like overhype. I think this is probably one of the more accurate trailers we've done to movies, where it portrays exactly what you're gonna see. Fucking world ending.
It doesn't give away a ton.
It's like Escape from LA, but with water. With that being said, 21-year-old me, 18-year-old me could totally relate to this movie and like its graphics and its costumes and everything, and just be like, imagine, it being better. You know what I'm saying? Like I could give you the 10% leeway of some of the what kind of looks like drama school costumes, right? I could give you the leeway because I could imagine it in my head. In 2022, now I'm 33. How cool would it have been in 1995 to have Mel Gibson instead of Dennis Hopper, and maybe perhaps take the woman out and have Rene Russo.
Dude, so essentially you're just trying to make Mad Max on the water.
But no, we never really saw Mel Gibson as a villain until he became a drunk driver and like a Jew killer.
But I mean, like, do you think Costner was bad casting here?
I think Dennis Hopper was a fine casting, but like I'm talking like withstanding the test of time. This is, you can't beat the classics. It doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't hold. The only thing is it just doesn't hold up. Like this right here, primed for a remake. Primed for a remake. Dune was like primed for a remake. This is primed for a remake because the only thing that really holds it back is like maybe a different like dynamic villain, and then upgraded graphics, and then a sequel. It's criminal that this movie didn't get a sequel.
I think it's no. They end this movie. This movie ends.
Criminal. Yeah. I think a sequel. I wonder if a sequel must have been in talks.
It was, and it got scrapped.
And it probably got scrapped. Okay.
So my thing about this is like, this movie ends. It has a definitive end, and then the main parties split ways.
Yeah, but you
so what are they gonna do? Like, he hears from the fish that they're in trouble, and then he returns.
Well, you know what they would probably do now is, like, probably back then, you know, you don't have to do it. The chances of a sequel happening were not slim to none, but probably not as likely back then. You'd probably see a sequel pop up now, like a sequel to Top Gun popped up just a few weeks ago.
But like they tried,
that was like 30-something years.
It didn't work. I guess what I'm saying is, like, in 2022, if you remade this, even if you did the Dune method, where like you take one movie and break it up over 3, right? Because it's long, whatever, fine.
Yeah.
Like, you can't tell me that, like, even if you want to say we stick with the Mad Max thing, right? Tom Hardy as the main protagonist, whatever, and then you have, you know, fucking, who cares? Some hot girl as, take the girl from AT&T and make her the hot girl. And then, but then I feel like
give herself to Tom Hardy.
the villain in this movie, I think, is more served as someone who can act, not just be villainous. So I think Joaquin Phoenix would be a really cool villain. You know, stuff like that. I mean, Alan Rickman, God bless his soul, was my first pick for this. But
this was definitely a cast of its time. Like obviously, like Kevin Costner, like Dennis Hopper. Like, I don't know about you guys, but anytime I see Dennis Hopper or his name, I'm like, oh god, the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, he's always the villain, man.
He's the bomb-toting guy from Speed.
Yeah,
dude, he's always the villain.
Does a good job.
I don't like that. I like, for big blockbuster movies, I like when you can take someone and make them a villain.
I actually did see a really good movie with him in it. It was recently called True Romance. It's not what you think. It's like Quentin Tarantino wrote it.
Oh.
So that was an interesting movie. He's actually not a bad guy in that.
So before we dive like step by step into this movie, do you think they do a remake on this movie, George, or do you think they do like a Blade Runner where Kevin Costner is like an old guy living secluded?
No, Kevin Costner is not built for the water anymore. But like, hear me out. The budget was $175 million for this movie, right? Yeah. Dude, filming on the water is like, you gotta be in tremendous shape. He couldn't even do The Guardian. They had to cut scenes in The Guardian and keep him in like the chopper and shit.
Yeah, but he was meant to be an old guy in The Guardian.
Yeah, but he was still meant to do more of his own stunts, and he fucking couldn't. So like, they had to cut scenes, and even Ashton Kutcher was like, "What the fuck, man? You're killing the movie." So like, he can't do the water stuff anymore, and I get that. That's not easy, right? Like, I don't even know if I could do it. So like I'm okay with them doing a hard reboot, resetting this, and doing the Dune method. But
I don't. Michael Phelps.
Why not put Michael Phelps in the movie? The dude is fucking ripped. Like, why not? But like, I guess my thing with this movie is like, you missed the boat on a sequel. You missed it. Don't try and build off Kevin Costner's legacy. The movie's almost 30 years old.
Yeah.
On to the next. Let's redo it. That's one that I think needs a redo. Ghostbusters didn't need to be touched, and I don't think Ghostbusters would have been touched as the way it was had they not fucked up already trying to reboot it.
Yeah, but Afterlife wasn't a reboot. Afterlife was a continuation.
Yeah, but they had to do that because
what they did with the Saturday Night Live crew, essentially.
Yeah, so I mean, it is a Saturday Night Live movie, but
it was. Yeah,
they had to do that, but I feel like Ghostbusters would have been really prime for a reboot had it not been for that. So that's all, man.
In the age of like remakes and sequels, we kind of see a movie getting like announced being remade or something like that, and we're kind of like, oh, why? But I think Waterworld is one that, you know what, I wouldn't hate it.
Waterworld being redone to be more time effective, and I think the budget was $175. They only made like $30-40 million on it. They didn't make a lot of money, and I guarantee that's because they shot it all on open water, right? If you had a chance to redo that in a controlled environment with the graphics we have today, you could probably make that movie for $100 million. And that's $1 billion movie. Sense. I think that's $1 billion movie.
I feel like it has like kind of like that cult classic type of vibe around it where people would be like, yeah, I'm interested in that still. Because it did gain a lot more traction after it was out of theaters.
I'm telling you, man, just give me $1 billion and I'll make you 10. Waterworld should be remade. And I think if you pick the right cast, like Dune did, Dune picked an amazing cast. I had no interest in Dune, but I wanted to see the movie.
Yeah.
There you go. I have no interest in Dune. I honestly never even crossed my mind that I should watch Dune. And that cast was so unbelievable. And I was duped so hard.
Yeah, I still haven't watched it. I'm going to, though. I still haven't watched it.
Yeah. So
just wait till part 2 at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So let's start diving into the plot of the movie here a little bit. So the year, apparently, I think the year is like 2500. I think it is, and all the polar ice caps have all melted. So the whole entire world is covered in water now, and this is just the way that life is now. So we're met with Kevin Costner's character doesn't have a name throughout the movie, but he's known as the Mariner throughout the whole film. And the first thing we see him doing is using a machine to turn his piss into drinkable water. I was like, ew.
As an adult too, that took me a little bit to kind of figure out the mechanics behind that, but
it was literally just like a hand crank, one bowl with a hand crank, and then it was just drinkable water. It's science fiction.
Yeah, a lot of this movie has the Star Wars New Hope effect, right? Where it was the first type of movie kind of like that, so you kind of let a lot of things slide.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like
So yeah, okay, let's keep going because I got something to say.
So he ends up meeting another drifter. So anybody that's on their own boats, like just traveling the seas or whatever, they call them drifters. So he runs into another one, and apparently it's like a custom that if you run into another drifter, you have to trade something with them. Like there's no if, and, or buts. Like you have to do it.
Yeah.
So I think he kind of gets into it with this drifter here, and then this is where I think they're racing for some sort of bag. It seems like I know something. There's something that happens before the smokers show up.
Yeah, I thought the whole thing wasn't the whole thing like a trap.
That's possible too.
Because like the smokers had him like up on the mast, and he was like fake. They're like waving his hand for him.
I thought it was a trap.
Yeah,
and,
so I know.
And the bag, he could see the bag, and that's how the smokers breathe underwater.
Right. Yeah, I know the smokers smoked the drifter.
Yeah. So they propped him up on the mast, and they had him like fake waving, and then he was like looking at it through his little telescope thing, and he saw that it wasn't real. But he approached it anyway, or he started turning around, and then they started chasing him.
Yeah, exactly.
So the smokers are starting to lure people in with these traps and starting to steal all their stuff. Like everyone's at this point is like running out of food, and it's just it's crap.
I think, and the Mariner gets word that there's this atoll not too far from there, so he goes there and he finds it, and he's like wants to pick up some supplies there. And apparently dirt is like, well, I mean, I can see why, but just extremely valuable.
Right. No one's ever seen dirt before because the world is covered in water.
So like
I don't get when we're talking about all this, the thing that threw me for a loop was that the world is ending, right? How does anyone understand the biomechanics about turning piss into drinkable water and like having food and stuff, or having these gadgets handy when like this happened all of a sudden? I don't know. That part was a little far-fetched for me.
I just think it's funny, like they trade in things like, okay, so like the world is over, right? So they trade in things like Marlboro cigarettes and Spam.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. How did cigarettes survive? How did that many cigarettes survive?
To me, the way they make cigarettes would be like the first thing to go. Right?
Because you'd be ripping butts. If it was me, I don't even smoke. I'd be ripping butts. Kill me. Get rid of me. This is terrible.
Yeah, I'm gonna die horribly of cancer. Yeah, that's exactly what I want.
But no, that's a good question. So I mean, so not a lot is explained. It's just kind of like this. Yeah, the world's over. This is how it is.
Yeah, and I feel like as you go on, like you kind of learn, as Enola and the Mariner. So basically, like they go to this camp, they get attacked by the smokers at the camp, and the Mariner makes it out, and then Enola and Helen stow away on his ship with him, and they end up on this journey together. So the reason why the smokers attacked them is because they heard of this girl who was an orphan who has a map to dry land on her back,
right?
And no one knows how to read it.
Yeah. Well, another interesting thing here is that when he's trading the dirt for like supplies and stuff or whatever I think he grabbed the tomato plant. There's like people residents there at the atoll that like want to like give their daughter away to him just to have children, and he's like no, I don't want to do that. So they grow like suspicious of that, and then that's when they find out he's a mutant. Right. And he has gills on the back of his ears.
Right. He is mutated. In 500 years, his kind has mutated.
So that's when they decide to capture him and end up trying to recycle him.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it? So here's the other part, right? So they have a tomato plant, which is planted in dirt, but the dirt that he's bringing them has nothing in it, and it's more valuable.
Yeah, well, and like, I didn't understand. Like, you see later, like, kind of like where he got the dirt, but if it's, I'm getting ahead a little bit, but if it's where he found it, I'm like, isn't it like not dirt anymore?
Yeah, I mean, when you dry it out, it's dirt. But like even then, so like his cage that they keep him in falls into mud, which wasn't very deep, or else he would have just gone right through it, right?
Yeah, that sludge or whatever. That
means that like where that little camp is actually pretty much in shallow water.
Again, there's a lot of stuff you gotta just kind of use your imagination here.
Yeah, this is a movie where you kind of just gotta roll with it.
Yeah, you just gotta assume whatever they're showing you is real.
But suddenly a shit ton of smokers just pop up. Just bombard. Yeah.
First, so they have like a mid-70s or 80s Cessna that survived 500 years. I just want to say that this plane that they're flying around is like a mid-70s, mid-80s, and it's like 2,500 or whatever. So it's like this Cessna has survived that long. Okay.
Yeah, like we just you just got to roll with it.
Yeah.
But a shit ton of smokers show up, and they just bombard this atoll. All because they're trying to get Enola because she has that map on her back. So like as the place is being overrun, Helen makes a deal with the mariner as he's drowning in that sludge, so he doesn't have a choice. Like, hey, if you take us with you, we'll get you out of here. So he has no choice. He's like, all right, come with me. But they only went with him because this inventor Gregor, like he had that balloon machine, but he set the balloon off too soon, so he flew away. He flew away without them.
I can't stop it. I can't stop it.
Also, another interesting cast choice, Michael Jeter. You see him a lot in these 90s movies.
Yeah. Just like little things like this, though.
Yeah. I did really like this whole battle between the smokers. Like, this is one high praise for me. The film looked really good.
Yeah.
You know, from a production standpoint.
It was a very good movie.
So they end up escaping. And we're also met the villain, the Deacon, who's Dennis Hopper.
Yeah.
He ends up losing an eye in the battle.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that in all the promotional stuff, like the trailer, they show him without an eye, but he started the movie with his eye. I don't know. I'd make him more recognizable for the promotional stuff. I don't know.
In the trailer, they don't show the shitty eye.
Yeah.
It looks like shit.
He puts it in his mouth to clean it. You're like,
Yeah. Reminded me of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
But those three escape. So Deacon is interrogating those people that survived on the atoll. Like where did this girl go? So he ends up killing that one guy that told him. You said you wouldn't kill me.
Yeah, I know. Did I say I wouldn't kill him?
Yeah.
So many cheesy one-liners in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Right. I'm surprised there's not a YouTube video out there for all the cheesy one-liners.
I'm sure there is somewhere.
Oh, I need it.
That'll be on my gym mix.
Legit.
Yeah. So all that happens. Everyone takes off.
So like the Mariner's not too happy about these two being with him.
Yeah, don't touch my ship. Don't touch anything on my ship.
Yeah, like Enola just draws on the ship and he just flings her overboard. This poor girl that can't swim.
Yeah, yeets her. He fucking yeets her.
And he just kept going. Oh, I mean, I think he stopped eventually, but not after Helen dove in.
Yeah. I mean, she's drawing, like, she found crayons underneath. She starts drawing, like, trees and all that stuff. She's, I don't know. Understandable. Little girl needs something to do, whatever. In the middle of the ocean, nothing else to do.
I know. How boring must that have fucking been?
And then they meet the trader, right? And they run into the trader at this point.
Yeah, I think, but before that is when like the smokers find him. The smoker plane finds him, and then that's when like
it kind of
yeah, and it kind of fucks up the Mariner's ship a little bit. So that's when he when he takes down the smokers, that's when he like makes them cut their hair so that way he can fix the ship.
Yeah.
But then that's when he finds the paper guy.
Yeah. Paper.
The Scottish, I guess he was Scottish drifter.
I don't know what the hell he was. This is my most quoted line of any movie ever is this line. Like I'll be at work, I'll be on a call, and they'll be like, how long until it's done? I'll be like half an hour, and everyone's like, I don't know what the hell you're doing. I'm like, get cultured, swine.
Yeah, watch a 3-hour movie for that one line. Now.
for a 40-second scene about being a pervert, essentially. What about the wee one? Not for sale.
Jeez. The whole premise of this movie is brilliant. It's just at times it draws me back to the 90s though, and I'm just like, oh god,
yeah,
cringe.
So like I don't mind. So like a lot of this, it has like the 90s feel, right? So it has like the Mad Max thing going on. It has like the Judge Dredd. It has like all those like corny movies, like little bits and pieces from all of them, right? And I'm here for it. The movie stands as it is. I think it's a great movie just because of how of its period it is, really. If I just want the nostalgia of like sitting around and waiting for this thing to hit, the VHS on the store or something like that, like just, I don't know. I get the nostalgia whenever I turn it on.
It's like Transformers to me. I just throw it on when it's on TV.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. He has this awkward exchange with this trader. He trades a paper for Helen, and then he realizes the paper is just worthless, so he undoes the trade. And the drifter doesn't like this, so but the mariner ends up killing the drifter.
That's how you get the paper and the woman.
And then they looted the drifter's boat, and they got like 3 broken fishing rods.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's like, oh, we're gonna catch fish this way, and he's like, and then the mariner's like, well, you want to see how I eat? And then this is what I think they should have explored this more. Whatever the hell this was, this sea monster or whatever,
massive thing.
Like this it was probably like the only like little bit of probably CGI that was in the movie was this sea monster, and I thought that was cool because I was like, I wish we could have seen more of that instead of just like all people, just like, not only has people probably had to evolve, but I'm sure all the other things living on Earth had to change too. I wish they would have showed that a little bit more.
So I will say too, to this point, so like in a couple of minutes, like a little bit down the road there, Helen keeps pushing to like figure out where he gets dirt, right? So he goes fishing, he does all this swimming out behind the boat, and then he gets swallowed and he kills this fish, and then for some reason they only get like 2 little fish fillets out of this humongous massive thing that they kill. But they also go down to the ocean floor, and at no point in that scene do you see any animals.
Like fish or anything. Yeah.
Nothing. And you figure like he's going out behind the ship and he like lures this fish to him so he can kill it. But like when they're going down in a random spot, they like nothing happens. Like they don't. I feel like they should have made that a little more tense with like some sharks or something like that. I don't know.
They probably couldn't afford it.
Yeah, no, like there's definitely like sea life in those oceans. Like you can't tell me the whole entire world's covered in water and there's no sea life.
Yeah, they blew their
the original cut of this movie was over 3 hours.
I know they had to cut it down to 2 hours and 15 minutes for theatrical version.
Yeah, so I'd imagine this was a small version piece of this.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to know like what 45 minutes they cut out during for the theatrical version, because I couldn't imagine this movie without all the scenes in it.
I mean, it begs the question of why we don't get more director's cuts, right?
Yeah, like the Snyder cut.
Yeah.
Actually, an interesting note with this, actually, the director Kevin Reynolds, I don't know how much sense this makes, but he quit the film before its release.
But after he was done making it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like that sentence doesn't really makes much sense, because how can he quit the film if it was already done?
Maybe he had differences in production.
That he had, it says ode to heated battles with Kevin Costner over his creative decisions.
Well, that's one interesting thing. So Kevin Costner from this movie went, Kevin Reynolds is the one who directed this one, and then they go to, where is it? The Postman in 1997, that he directed himself.
Oh, okay.
So I think Kevin Costner was like, okay, Waterworld was this way, and I had some differences with the director, and it could have been so much better. And then he went and made The Postman. And it's pretty much the same movie, just no water.
Listen, Kevin Costner,
same but different.
Kevin Costner's career leading into that point, though, wasn't brilliant. Like, he wasn't Kevin Costner. I don't think, at least at that point, right? Like, when he was doing Waterworld, he did The Bodyguard, but like
The Bodyguard isn't very highly rated either, though. Like, I think The Bodyguard's a great movie, but like, what's that, like a 6.3 on IMDb, and this is a 6.2?
I mean, I guess he was Kevin Costner at this point, because he had
done. Well, he had Field of Dreams has already been done.
Untouchables, Bull Durham, Field of Dreams,
Robin Hood,
like
Prince of Thieves.
JFK.
Yeah, the Gun Runner. I guess he was Dancing with Wolves, Prince.
Yeah, all that stuff is out. Dancing with Wolves is a slow ass movie. If you want to talk about a good slow movie.
I mean, I guess that he kind of was, but then like his run doesn't really stop there. He goes into For the Love of the Game, Tin Cup, 13 Days, Graceland. Well, 3,000 Miles to Graceland, I'll say that one.
That version.
And then he turns into fucking a pumpkin for a little while.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that this is like pretty much like right in the middle of his.
Yeah,
I mean, one could argue that Tin Cup was like that timeline, that couple of years was like the highlight of his career.
Yeah,
but I think it was like the early 90s.
Yeah. So I guess, hey, fuck it. Whip it out, Kevin. Whip it out, buddy. Lay it on the table for him.
Anyway.
Yeah.
We digress.
I guess he was Kevin Costner at this
point. This is the point in the movie where I think just before like they find that city underwater, they find that outpost, but that he knows is a trap. Like that
the oil platform, right?
Yeah, that the Deacon set up. I'm like, well, when you see the dead guys just hanging there, I'm like, all right, yeah, that's a pretty big giveaway.
Yeah. The smokers aren't really.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like we've already established at this point, like the smokers are the only ones that still have oil, right?
Yep.
And they got the little dude that lives down in the oil tank, and he's like, "You got about 3 meters of this stick with oil with black stuff."
Yeah, they're running out of oil, so that's why like the people are like
rowing.
People that are on that on that boat or that big ass boat that they're rowing, that's why they're like pushing the Deacon to like update them on where the hell is this dry land that you said you were gonna find us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he runs into the outpost. It's another trap, and out of nowhere comes all of these jet skis, and like the plane is back, and all this other stuff is just going crazy.
Yeah. He ends up escaping that, but and then that's when he shows Helen that city.
Well, yeah. At this point, too, didn't the Deacon he licked his gun, licked his sight, and he actually like shot the Mariner through his kidney.
something.
He was like as he's going away, and he's like,
yeah, from wicked far away, he hit somebody.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I was wondering what the heck was this deep sea diver that he put Helen in.
Oh, the bubble.
Yeah, that was cool.
So on the ship too, he had an air pump. So he had an air pump, and the line ran down to the little bubble, and I think that's how he collects all of his stuff. Like he just takes it and he throws it in the bubble, and then he brings it back up, and he just happened to put her in it.
That's how he brought those copies of National Geographic up to him.
Yeah, Nat Geo, man. And like all the dirt and the crayons and everything else that he was finding down there.
Yep. And I think this isn't where Gregor shows up. I think the smokers after they find the city, the smokers show up again. And then that's where they finally grab Enola.
Right, she was hiding on the ship in the hole underneath the hull.
Yeah, and that's where the Deacon was like pretending to kill off the Mariner and Helen, so that way Enola would pop out.
Yeah.
So they take her, and the Mariner's ship is just totally destroyed, like nothing left. So then that's when Gregor pops up and comes down on his
flying machine
and saves them.
Yeah.
I think Helen gives herself to the Mariner before they show up.
Yeah. Yeah, after they lose the kid, she's like, might as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's motivate.
Yeah. And then Gregor shows up.
Yeah, and then that's when they try to figure out a plan to save Enola. Oh, at first, I think the plan is like they don't really want to save Enola; they just want to find dry land, but they can't do it without Enola. But they also think it's too risky to save Enola. So the Mariner is just like
Gregor has found like another commune of people, or people from the original place have like made a new commune, like a floating boat commune where they're all together. And Gregor hooks up his little flying machine to them, and like I don't know.
Yeah. So like this is where the Mariner is just like, all right, I'm gonna go off on my own and save her then.
Yeah.
So the Mariner finds this big giant ship that the Deacon and his people are rowing. He slammed that guy with that jet ski.
Yeah.
He said slow.
Yeah. This battle's pretty great too.
This is cool. He's like, well, the Deacon, he should have done something here, because once the Mariner had that flare over that oil pipe, it was like, you got to do what this guy says or else you're blowing up. But he let it happen.
Yeah, and like to be honest, so like they have the kid, and let's be honest, it's been like a day or two, right? So they've been trying to decipher this map for a couple days, no progress. But like he shows the thing to all the people on the ship. He's like, "We have the map," and then like they start rowing again.
Yeah, he's like row that way, and he's like, even though it's not that way.
So he's like giving him false hope, and I think it gets to the point where he's like, we're not going to make any progress. No one on the ship has any idea. And then they were talking about cutting the skin off of her and stretching it and like being able to orient it. It's like, like, how Dennis Hopper, you evil, evil man.
What a terrible idea too in hindsight. Like,
we're gonna cut skin. Like a 7-year-old girl.
Yeah, we're gonna cut her skin off and just hope it doesn't decay and rot before we can figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, God forbid. Whatever.
Yeah.
The smokers not the best planners.
Who would have thought?
That's what I'll say.
They literally just like whenever like their people are like, oh, everyone's angry at you, they just throw out like 4 cans of Spam and like a bunch of loose cigarettes. Everyone loves you again.
I wonder if that would work at work.
Probably would.
There's Spam cigarettes spam, cigarettes, and a copy of National Geographic.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, this whole battle was cool too. Like he drops the flare down the oil thing, so the ship starts blowing up. The Deacon miraculously gets in his plane. He's taken off, but of course the Mariner shoots it down with like no problem at all.
Yeah, no problem.
Shooting this plane down. I think Gregor and everybody else show up to rescue him.
Yeah.
But this is where you think it's over, but then you see Enola drop out of the balloon, and you're like, oh shit, that was pretty far. I mean, at least she learned how to swim, but that was pretty far.
Yeah, he had been teaching her how to swim during their travels.
Well, this is the part of the movie where I'm like, come on, where he just bungee corded, the Mariner just bungee cords off of the balloon thing and just nabs her, and the jet skis just like literally. I was like, I wrote down, I'm like, come on.
Yeah. I mean, it's 90s action.
The way it played out was cool, but then just watching it now, you're like, all right.
I mean, if you watch like Judge Dredd or like any of that stuff too, they like fall out of like 15-story buildings and they're totally fine.
It's just
or they
outrageous.
get in a car accident going like 80 and then they just walk away from it. It's like same stuff.
I don't know why I'm expecting more realistic things in a movie like this, but that part was just I don't know.
I just don't understand why like the jet skis didn't like. For me, the jet skis were just like normal jet skis with like maybe cement on the cover. Like, why weren't they? I feel like in all this time, like boats and ships and like jet skis and everything, a lot of time and science would be put into making those like almost damn near unbreakable.
Well, I mean, what's the point of improving a motor vehicle if like the
that's what I'm saying. Maybe motor isn't the way to go. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe you can turn pee into water.
Well,
you can't make a Tesla.
The Mariner ship has like that thing that spins to create electricity, and it's sail driven, and he has that kite that go out in front of it. Like,
yep, more.
Like, so, I mean, like he has made the improvements. Maybe like I don't know.
I guess when watching this, that was one of the things that made me laugh because I was like, we're in the future, we're drinking pee, we're doing all this other stuff. Like even Star Wars turned cars into land speeders. You couldn't have upgraded the Sea-Doos a little bit. Instead of they put a layer of like schmegma on the front and called it a futurized
and like fishing net on it and stuff.
Yeah, like oh come on, put it.
Dude, I will say though, like it really showed, like I said, 3 distinct classes of people. So it showed like the people who have made communes post-apocalyptically to survive. And it's shown the people who are loners and have developed the technology on their own to survive. And then it shows the people who have relied on old technology because it was just the easiest thing for them to do at the time. Like if you look at it that way. So like, and there's those people like I am gonna die if there's ever an apocalypse because I'm not prepared at all.
Yeah.
But there are people who are prepared, and then there are people who are just stockpiling guns and fuel and everything else right now just to use what they currently have.
I wonder if him being a mutant, like if like he must have been smarter than the average person, probably maybe.
He's evolved.
Yeah, that, and I think I think it just shows how incompetent I guess the smokers were.
Yeah.
Just messing up left and right because like you said, like they're the ones that probably just are the ones that just relied on like the oldest technology just because it was easier instead of adapting to the times that they're living in.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if the world flooded over right now, bro, I'd be useless.
Yep.
Like, you want me to create that type of technology? I can't. But, like, that doesn't mean that us 3 together couldn't have found ways to improve off of motor vehicles. And that's all I'm saying. I think that part, I wish more time was spent there. That's all I'm saying. That's why I feel like this movie is primed for a reboot.
Yeah, and I think you're right. Like they would do like smaller sailed vehicles or like solar or something like that at this point where it's big enough.
Yeah.
Or even just like what about like something you can stand on that moves kind of very fast versus like not like a motorboat or like
are you talking like the Green Goblin's hoverboard?
Yeah, like something like that with like anything.
I feel like if they did a reboot now, it would be like Deep Blue Sea, and there would be like a whole bunch of houses just under the surface of the water.
Well, the Mariner, you think he was using some sort of like crank system on his boat, on his ship.
Yeah,
he was.
So like, I mean, you don't have to like, if you're on a jet ski.
Dude, you have a very floppy mic right now. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, I do.
a flaccid mic.
It's in attention right now.
It's huge though.
All right, I'm gonna
Kevin.
All right, I'm just gonna get back to the plot. All right, so all this traveling, they better find dry land out of this, and they end up finding it. After days of being on that balloon thing.
Gregor miraculously has insight into this tattoo that he didn't have over like the 10 years that the girl was living with him.
Yeah. But they end up finding the thing that was once a myth, the dry land. So they're like all shocked just because they've never seen anything. They've never seen this before. So they jump on the island. They hop on the island for a little bit, and they're exploring. So they find that hut with
her parents.
Yeah, with their family in there, and then that's where they discover like similar drawings to what she had on her back. So we learned that her family sent her off like before they died, in hopes that somebody, that she would do this, that she would find a way to bring people back to this island. So they do that. But it looks like the only person that doesn't want to stay is the Mariner. He's like,
and he's not built for it anymore. He's got web toes, he's got web fingers, he's got gills. Like he's not built for it anymore.
Yeah, so he's like all these horses and stuff like that. Yeah, not for me.
Yeah, so like that's what I'm saying. Like, you think this movie deserves a sequel? I think that's a definitive end.
Yeah, but you're telling me it's done right there? Like he never comes across conflict ever again? Or what about a prequel? I want to watch the fucking world burn, Michael. Like, what about that? Like, you're telling me it wouldn't be cool to see that transition? I'd fucking explode my pants if they made 2012 meet Waterworld. Explode it.
We already got that. We got The Day After Tomorrow. That was the prequel.
Yeah. Okay. The Day After Tomorrow was like 2 days of a frozen Earth.
Dennis was still
like
amazing.
It was like the tip of the peenie.
But like something like that would be fucking dope, bro. Like
it would be pretty cool. But like, so the problem is they progress the timeline 500 years, so they can't condense 500 years into 2.5 hours.
You don't have to. Star Wars figured it out. Right.
I forgot about this casting. Jack Black was one of the smoker pilots.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He was the pig guy, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
Jack Black did just a lot of fun stuff. You think, that sounds fun.
And this movie rebooted would be dope with Dolph Lundgren in it. Like there's so many cool things you could do with this movie. I just think this is the prime movie that the more I think about it, the more I vomit in my mouth. But I still will watch. Like if you're like, hey, let's go watch Waterworld, I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go watch Waterworld.
Let's go.
But like, if they rebooted this, it could be a legitimate badass movie. I think it could be.
Yeah.
I think if you
a guy who's notoriously known for being a hero, so that when he's now the villain in this one, it takes a little bit of the pressure off and allows you to get away with the stuff that Hopper got away with, but it doesn't come off cringy and cheesy. It just comes off as them being a little more maniacal and optimistic.
Oh man, Dolph Lundgren.
Like, imagine the guy who plays Homelander. Imagine the guy who plays Homelander right now.
Oh, Anthony Starr.
Yeah, imagine him playing Hopper's role. Like, bro, it's not even comparable. This dude would crush it. I don't know. I just think if you just mix up a few things, you don't need all the A-listers. Like, even if you kept Karl Urban and Anthony Starr and threw them in this, I think I would watch it. I'd watch it. I'm biased, but I'd watch it.
I mean, you're kind of selling me on this remake, to be honest.
You know, maybe Karl Urban could do the Mariner. I could see it.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe. And then
Karl Urban, if there's anybody that, like, an actor you could trust, like, look what he did with Judge Dredd.
I think Karl Urban's dope. Like, and he's low key in like every fucking franchise. He's in Marvel. He's in Star Trek. He's in fucking Dredd. He's in The Boys. He's all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
For me,
I was just looking it up. He's in Riddick too.
Yep.
Yeah, he's the necromancer, right?
Yeah, he's the necromancer. Yeah.
Dude, he's unreal, and he's
he was also in one of the best video game movies ever made, Doom.
Yeah, he was the brother.
He was his brother. He went down there to find her.
Yep. Dude, I'm telling you, man, like this movie screams update me. Just update me. You don't even have to change anything. You can keep the fucking language the same. Just update it. Just update it. That's all America wants. That's all we need.
Well, I mean, it doesn't even have to be a theatrical release. Like, depending on who would nab it.
Exactly.
You could put this on a Paramount Plus or something like that.
If you did this like Stranger Things and just did a 10-episode release, and then like let it simmer.
This is a Universal, so probably Peacock.
And that's NBC, NBC Universal.
It's a Universal product, so probably them.
I mean, either way, okay, fuck it.
I have Peacock, whatever.
But like, if you take the Stranger Things approach, where they dropped Stranger Things season 1. They waited until award season to see if they did good. And then after award season, they then started season 2. And season 2 wasn't necessarily like, hey, we're going forward. It was all over the place. You can go backwards if you want, as long as you tie it going forward.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like
season 2 was not my favorite. Season 3 was fantastic.
No, season 2 was kind of a little too all over the place, but it ties very well to season 4. So
I haven't watched it yet, but I'm waiting for all the episodes. Season 3 is certified bang.
Don't wait. It's season 4 is like hour-and-a-half long episodes. It's not worth waiting. You find the time and watch them.
I'm gonna wait.
Okay.
I'm working through some other shows.
It comes out in 2 weeks, bro. What do you mean you're gonna wait? Hour-and-a-half long episodes? Anyway, I digress. You have 2 weeks till the rest of the show comes out. And they're fucking 2 hours.
I'm waiting for the rest of Obi-Wan to come out too.
That's almost done.
That's one I won't wait because I don't want anyone to spoil it for me.
Yeah, no, I'm staying off of everything. I'm waiting.
And I hear we're getting 3 extra episodes.
No
what?
shit.
Yeah, I heard Ewan McGregor slipped and said there's 10 episodes, and they were like, no, there's only 6, and he's like,
correct. Yes, there's only 6.
Oh. So
anyway, Waterworld.
Yeah. So all right, yeah, but he ends up sailing off. So then the movie's over. So we have our ending.
we have a ending.
Yeah. So that's Waterworld. So let's go through what you guys would rate it. So on a scale of 1 to 10, one being the world underwater, and then 10 being you finally find dry land. What would you rate Waterworld?
Go ahead, George.
6.5. It just needs it's probably an 8, but I think that 1.5 points is like, bro, it's time for a new one. This one is due.
Yeah.
You know,
I was gonna say this is a 7. This is a solid 7 for me. I think the casting was good. I think the story was good. I think that there were some execution flaws. I personally think it holds up, but I know it's not really regarded as a movie that holds up. So I call mine like a solid 70, a C minus.
Yeah.
Move on.
When you say like it holds up or doesn't hold up, in my mind, I compare like Aliens. Does Aliens hold up? And yes. I think Aliens holds up. I think there's way too many holes I could poke in Waterworld.
I think that this movie holds up because I still find the plot of this movie plausible.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a 6 on this one. While I don't really think the rewatch value is quite there for me. But I think but for the time, like the production and like set pieces and stuff, really good. So I give it props on that, and the fact that they shot all of this on like open water, like that's crazy.
Yeah, I do say like I think part of the reason why, for me, I say it holds up is because like cinematically, like in the production value, like you look at it and you're like, yeah, the world is flooded. I'm convinced.
Yeah, it's definitely pleasing. It's definitely pleasing to watch. Yeah. It's just one of those things though, like when you think about it and you take a step back, it's like, all right, man, this dude ain't.
You just want a sequel so bad it's clouding your judgment.
He ain't churning butter and turning piss into water, bro. Like, come on, man. Like that's just not how that works. That's just not how that works. I don't care. You're telling me a guy on a fucking sailboat. Chris Farley couldn't even get the fucking sail up, and you're telling me this guy is just all of a sudden turning piss into water? No.
Why are you so held up on the piss in the water thing?
Like, because
that's drinking water.
You be Patches O'Houlihan and you drink that piss.
Like I understand.
Do I have to drink my own piss? No, but I do it anyway because it's sterile and I like to taste.
Like I understand there are things in this movie that I'm not going to logically be able to explain, but how often it happened, I was just like, nah.
He literally did it once.
Yeah, that
one time in this movie.
Yeah,
he had to pee one time during all that time.
Cars on boats.
He was teaching Noah how to swim.
Like there were just some weird thing. Like an airplane survives 800 years. No,
a tanker that is literally so rusty it can't hold water anymore is still just floating around the ocean.
All of that, like I don't. Here's the thing. It needs a reboot. At the end of the day, like I think this is a hard 6.5, hard 6.5, only because it's like the graphics aren't bad, they're fine. Yeah. But like when you watch Titanic, I don't think you could do it better today. I don't think you could do Titanic better today. Jurassic Park has been proven that you can't do it better today.
Yeah.
Like there have been shitty dinosaur movies like Velocipaster. And you know, I think when you see Waterworld, and then I watched Mad Max Fury Road, I know that one's on water, really and one, but like you watch the Doomsday Apocalypse stuff, and it's like, okay, well, we deserve a better Waterworld movie now.
Yeah, and I will say, to go back to that, to do like a 6-hour, 4-episode miniseries on, let's say, Peacock or whatever, I'd be down for 6 hours of this.
The director wanted to do a 3-hour theatrical release. I think we can get 10 episodes out of this. But my thing is, though, with that, and this is my thing that I complain to John about almost every time we bring up these new Disney Plus shows and whatever, the waiting week to week thing sucks the soul out of these shows and movies.
Yeah, I liked when these streaming things first started and they just dropped 10 episodes and you're like, yes.
That's why Stranger Things is gonna survive and do much better come Emmy season than any of these other shows, because Stranger Things has the hype now. They drop half a season and everyone's like, where's the rest? Where is it? Meanwhile, dude, the Obi-Wan Kenobi thing has drifted away. It's gone now. Like, and the hype for Obi-Wan Kenobi has drifted from the mainstream. And the hype for The Boys is minimal. If you look, The Boys viewership has dropped off almost 48%.
week to week.
Yeah,
and the new episode.
I like The Boys.
I love The Boys. This season especially is really good. But waiting versus watching it on your own time. And again, just give me a shit ton of money and I will make you a shit ton of money.
Well, what they're trying to do though, like the only reason why they do that is because they're giving away like 7-day free trials and they want people to stick around for more than 1 week. And they want to get the money for the month. That's what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Well, make more better content. Don't make one fucking show. Right? Like, hello? If you make one good movie, should you be a $1 billion production company? No, make fucking 100.
I also really do like tiered subscriptions, like what Hulu does.
Yeah, the Hulu
with ads and stuff.
Paramount does that too, and I love it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. So, like, I would buy a higher tier of something to get everything all at once, rather than a lower tier.
That's not a bad idea.
Wait week to week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Paramount does that, but then you run into the Anyway, we could talk about this for hours.
Yeah, really good.
But
movie was middle of the road.
Movie's all right.
Movie's goated. The movie is goated for a post.
The movie's ever on TV. I do make an effort to watch.
So that's our thoughts on Waterworld. So now the next fun part begins, deciding what the next movie is going to be.
What year? What year are we doing here, John?
Let's pull up the Wheel of Doom. We're gonna find out the year.
I'm hoping for 2000 because I got him that I want.
We're gonna find out the year for the next masterpiece. I hope that we're gonna do. Spin it, red wheel.
2000.
Oh, 1996.
Okay.
Ooh. All right.
Ew.
So wow, we're looking at it just a year. We just went ahead 1 year. All right. So the next episode is going to be a movie from the year 1996.
Oh my God.
I'll end it here. We'll see you guys then.
See you later.
Bye-bye.